Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Devin and I read books, and this is Devin Reads Books, and today we're going to do a little bit of a mini book haul type of video. So in my reading vlog from hell, I did the penny a page sale at Second & Charles, and we talked a little bit about the R.L. Stine books and then the Golden Compass books, but I want to get into kind of everything I got. We're going to exclude the R.L. Stine, actually, because I went a little more in depth with them on the other one. We're going to kick it off with the only series I bought that I knew absolutely nothing about. So I saw these right before checkout. Literally right before checkout. So the line for the sale was wrapped around the whole inside of the building. It was horrible. And I'm standing in line waiting, and I saw these, and I just happened to pick them up, and I saw they were 75 cents to $1.25. So I had to get them. Unfortunately, it looks like, when I look into the series, it looks like I'm missing a couple books still, because I think there's 5. And I'm not entirely sure what this series is actually called, because they're talked about differently, depending on which book you read, or like which description you read from the back. I think this one has all of them, but it doesn't list a series. And that is The Silver Sun, The Sable Moon, and The Black Beast by Nancy Springer. And I think The Black Beast is actually the newest one, because I think it's White Heart, Silver Sun, Sable Moon, Book of Suns, and then Black Beast. I could be very wrong. I'm trying to go off of what I remember looking at these from Goodreads. But from just looking at them, they seem so interesting. It's vintage fantasy. Definitely like 1970s. I'm pretty sure. Now I'm popping over the copyright date. 1981, so I was close. But pocket fantasy. And they're just different descriptions. So for the Silver Sun, with an unearthly wisdom, his only weapon, young Hal and Alan, his blood brother by strange bond, embark on a quest to turn the tide of evil and fulfill a legendary destiny. That's it. The Black Beast. Freyne and Tyrell, princes of Melior, ventured together into mysterious regions of Vale in search of an army in the hope of victory for his father's murder of the gentle, beautiful Mylida. Tyrell's spirit ached with the black hatred, and nothing, not Freyne the healer, not a beautiful virgin goddess, not his plundering sword, could soothe the prince's raging pain until all gentleness itself had been laid to waste. An epic odyssey, far reaches of passion, wilds, love, loyalty, and war. A story of 2 princes and a woman and a dark presence that would haunt them all. They seem so cool. It's just vintage fantasy. It seems really interesting. The front reminds me of... It really makes me think of Legend, 80s fantasy. I could also see The Last Unicorn. I've seen that once in my 30 years of being alive. And I could not say no. I just could not say no. I had to pick these up as cheap as they were. I couldn't tell you when I'll get to them. I am going to get the 2 books that I'm missing for sure. The rest of this year, I'm trying to commit to finishing series that I own. Going on Pengo Books, on eBay, whatever, and just trying to finish series that I already own. So instead of just buying a whole bunch of new ones, because it's becoming a problem. But this is definitely on the list, and I need at least the White Heart before I can start reading that. So moving on, I want to talk a little bit more about the Golden Compass, the Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman. So these are YA fantasy technically, at least that's where you find them now. I think you could make the argument that they are older children's fantasy, for sure. But this series is spectacular. I really loved it. It is a little grimmer, darker and grimmer than you would expect. It's very steampunky. Lyra Bellecois is content to run wild among the scholars at Jordan College. Her daemon familiar always runs by her side. The moment she hears hushed talk of dust, an extraordinary particle, she's drawn to the heart of a terrible struggle. And then it kind of goes from there. Her uncle is involved in some stuff. Children go missing. I really love the idea of the daemons, familiars, that kind of follow everyone around in this world. and as you grow, it loses its ability to change shape. And I really like the alethiometer as like it's an oracular device. The video game for this was actually super cool in that you could just like pause at any time and try to solve alethiometer puzzles, and that was just so fun. I really like this series a lot. I mean, it has polar bears in armor in the first book, and come on, man, that's just cool. The second book, I remember the third book the least, the Amber Spyglass, the Subtle Knife. I did really like. It gets dark kind of quick in the first book, and then in the second book it kind of stays dark. But I love this series. It's very near and dear to my heart. I have the pretty illustrated edition up there. I finally got a friend of mine to read it. I think as far as children's fantasy or YA fantasy goes, this is one of my flagship series, and I was looking for all three of these in this version because of the step back art. I think my original copies are my mom's, but when I saw they did these mass markets, these were the ones I wanted. So I was very happy to actually get all three of them, because every time I go in there, they only had one or two. This is the first time I've been in there, they had all three, so I was extremely excited. Finally, I got 4 books in a series that I have not thought about in probably almost 20 years. I was so happy that I was able to get almost all 5, because I think there's only 5. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's only 5 books in this series. But I was so happy to be able to get just about all of them. Technically, they had book 4, but they didn't have this version. And actually, I might need to find a different print of the first one. But that series is Children of the Lamp by P.B. Kerr. So this is a children's fantasy series. This is book 1, the Akhenaten Adventure. Book 2 is The Blue Djinn of Babylon. I need to get some of these stickers off still, sorry guys. Book 3 is The Cobra King of Kathmandu. And this one I actually just need to replace in general, because it's got a little bit of some Kool-Aid stains. And that bothers me. And then book 5, they didn't have book 4, The Eye of the Forest. And now the Children of the Lamp follows 2 twins, John and Philippa Gaunt. They're 12 years old twins who discover they're descended from a long line of Jinn. They have the power to grant wishes and all this other stuff. And they're introduced to their uncle, who's going to teach them how to control their powers. And they kind of go on a search to locate a monstrous looking pharaoh in his tomb and release 70 lost Jinn. I really like this series, actually, growing up. I read it at the library one summer from my grandparents. They lived in this really rural part of Kentucky. Actually, about 15 minutes from Corbin, Kentucky, which is where the first KFC is. And so it'd be an hour drive into town, and then a lot of times all you had to do was read. And that's where I read these for the first time. And I read these around the time Percy Jackson was coming out. So this technically got printed after Percy Jackson, but it was still within that window, that space. And I wanted more of that style of children's fantasy, of that style of fantasy and storytelling. And this delivered just in every way. The characters were fun. It's very interesting. The magic is fun. The magical word that they use their powers with, there's a whole chapter about them learning this, is something that obviously you don't want it to be able to come up in conversation, so it's random stuff. And you can actually see it. They spoil a little bit of it. This isn't a real spoiler, so I don't mind showing it. But their uncle's is just Quirdiup. I don't know if I can get it there. Quirdiup. Because it's the top row of the keyboard. Because it's not a word, and he's never going to say it in any other capacity. I always thought that was really funny. I'm really excited to get into this. I don't think I'll be able to during OSA, because I kind of have planned content, some planned stuff. I may end up reading one of them, but we shall see. But those are the main things I got from this penny a page sale. This will probably be the only book haul I do for a little while. I'm trying to get through all of my shelves here, and I need to clean and organize them so I can actually do a bookshelf tour. But guys, I have some other OSA content coming out. I hope you like these series. If you know anything about these Nancy Springer books too, please let me know in the comments. I know nothing about these, and I would love to hear something about them other than just from randoms on Goodreads. But other than that, let me know if you've read Children of the Lamp, how you felt about it. Golden Compass, I will talk your ear off all day if you have read the Golden Compass. Let me know all that in the comments down below. But anyway, guys, if you like what you saw today, please consider dropping a like on this video and subscribing to the channel if you would like to see more, and I will catch you next time.